Some breaking news, and Hollywood actor Gene Hackman has been found dead in his New Mexico home.
Bodies of the Hollywood legend and his wife, Betsy, were discovered. Strange connection, the conversation, Superman Gene Hackman has died at the age of 95.
And joining us now, Santa Fe County Sheriff Adon Mendoza, who's leading this investigation. Do you have any more insight this morning on what may have led to these deaths?
Right now, we don't. Of course, we executed the search warrant yesterday. We don't have more information. We're trying to put things together, put together a timeline when the decedents were last seen or spoken to. So we're trying to put all that information together right now.
Gene Hackman was supposed to spend his final days quietly, far from the Hollywood spotlight he once ruled. But when he and his wife, Betsy Arakawa, were discovered lifeless in their New Mexico home, front door hanging wide open, prescription pills scattered on the bathroom floor, and one of their beloved dogs also gone, everything about this story started sounding more like a dark movie script than real life. Today, we're diving into the strange circumstances surrounding their final hours, unraveling theories that run from accidental tragedy to something far more sinister. And before I jump headfirst into the bizarre details, please do me a small favor: subscribe to this channel. Every new sub helps me buy more coffee, and trust me, I'm going through cups like a detective sifting through clues. The Unsettling Discovery. It all began with a routine call to a maintenance worker who hadn't heard from the couple for several days. Hackman was known for living a peaceful, almost reclusive life with Betsy. No tabloids, no big red carpet appearances. So if anyone suspected a problem, it would likely be someone who handled practical tasks at the property. When the maintenance worker arrived, he found the front door not just unlocked, but actually ajar, as if no one had bothered to secure it for days. Peeking inside, he spotted two figures, motionless. Gene, the two-time Oscar winner who had once conquered Hollywood, was lying near the kitchen. Betsy was in the bathroom, leaving a heartbreaking sight that no one should ever have to witness. There were no broken windows or ransacked rooms, no immediate sign that someone had forced their way in. Yet the scenario felt unbelievably wrong, like time had frozen at the exact moment they lost their lives. Unsurprisingly, the worker called 911 in a panic. That call would spark an investigation that to this day has produced far more questions than answers. Mysterious timeline and pacemaker clue. Here's where things get even stranger. Authorities believe that Hackman's pacemaker recorded its final heartbeat on February 17th, but the couple's bodies weren't discovered until the 26th, nearly 9 days after the last sign of life from his heart device. How exactly did so much time pass without anyone noticing? Family members and friends all mentioned that the couple led a low-key lifestyle, rarely making public appearances or scheduling many social visits. Yet even for private individuals, a gap of over a week raises eyebrows. Was Betsy still alive after Hackman's heart stopped? If so, why didn't she call for help? Did she lack access to a phone? Or was she too overwhelmed to reach out? Or did something happen to both of them almost simultaneously, so nobody ever got the chance to ring 911? Investigators have wrestled with these possibilities, especially given that everything in the house appeared eerily normal at first glance. No massive disruptions, no sign of a frantic struggle. And yet, the discovery of bodies in separate areas points to a timeline that might not be straightforward. Did Gene collapse in one part of the house while Betsy was in the bathroom, each unaware of the other's emergency? With no bulletproof evidence to confirm or deny any particular theory, the pacemaker's data remains one of the investigation's biggest clues and biggest confusions. Strange details, one dog lost and scattered pills. The next piece of the puzzle is, if anything, even more baffling. Gene and Betsy had 3 dogs, but only one was found lifeless in a closet that day. The other 2 were alive and unharmed, showing no signs of distress. What caused that single dog to pass, and why only that one? If a toxic substance was involved, a gas leak or some other contaminant, wouldn't you expect all the dogs to be equally affected? Investigators quickly tested for carbon monoxide, a usual suspect in cases of unexplained deaths in closed homes, but came up empty. The levels inside the house were normal, leaving authorities perplexed as to what else might have caused that poor animal's demise. And then there were the pills. A prescription bottle left open near Betsy's body suggested a medication or possible OD'd scenario. Some tablets were scattered across the bathroom floor, as though dropped hastily. Was Betsy trying to take something for a sudden health crisis? Or could there have been an accidental mix-up of medications for two elderly individuals, both with their own health concerns? The scattered pills might also indicate some external factor, somebody who entered the home and manipulated the scene. But if that were the case, why did the house show no sign of forced entry or missing valuables? Theories ranging from natural to sinister. Given the baffling details, a front door mysteriously left open, a single dog gone, a 9-day gap in the timeline, speculation has run wild. One theory is that Hackman's health issues caught up with him, and Betsy simply couldn't handle the shock, leading to her own abrupt end. Still, that possibility doesn't fully explain the scattered pills, nor does it address why the front door would be unlocked for days. Another idea is that someone entered the property, intentionally or otherwise, but left virtually no trace. If there was an intruder, there's no visible sign of a struggle or burglary attempt. Everything important, valuables, documents, awards, remained in place. It's a conundrum as puzzling as any Hollywood thriller. Law enforcement hasn't ruled out foul play, but they also haven't pointed fingers at any suspects. The scenario has too many unknowns, from the final movements of both Hackman and Betsy to the effect of any medications they might have ingested. Could they have both inadvertently OD'd at the same time? Or did one pass away from natural causes while the other attempted some desperate measure to cope, ultimately losing her life as well? Investigators remain tight-lipped, partly because toxicology results can take weeks, if not months, to finalize. In the meantime, the rumor mill spins, merging real concerns with outlandish claims. Industry shock and families' quiet response. Perhaps what amplifies the intrigue is that Hackman was, until fairly recently, a revered figure in Hollywood. Even though he officially retired from acting in 2004, he kept a devoted following. Many believed he might make a cameo appearance at this year's Oscars, where he was rumored to be honored for a lifetime of cinematic excellence. Instead, the news of his and Betsy's passing blindsided everyone, from fans who grew up watching his iconic roles to the close friends who admired his talent and humility. As for Hackman's family, they've largely chosen silence. Some interpret this as a normal grieving process, while others see it as a sign that the circumstances might be more complicated than they seem. No one has issued a statement demanding justice or clarification about suspicious activity. They've simply expressed their sadness and asked for privacy, which, in a world starved for answers, has only ignited more speculation. If they know something the public doesn't, they're not talking. This hush fuels the sense that the real story may be locked behind closed doors, both literally and metaphorically. Toxicology tests and the waiting game. In any mysterious passing, toxicology becomes the linchpin of discovery. Investigators rely on these findings to understand whether harmful substances were at play, be they accidental or intentionally administered. With carbon monoxide ruled out, speculation has shifted to other toxins, from common household chemicals to an unforeseen medication mix. Early reports indicate no obvious signs of violence or forced overdose. Then again, if something more clandestine is at work, it might not leave a glaringly obvious trace. That's why the entire investigation hinges on detailed lab results from both human remains and the deceased dog. If the dog tested positive for a specific toxin, it might explain how everything else spiraled out of control. Conversely, if the toxicology returns clean, then perhaps the focus returns to a purely medical or natural explanation. Hackman was 95 after all, and known to have heart issues. It's hardly unthinkable that nature took its course in a devastating way. Still, that unanswered question of why Betsy would also pass, around the same time, remains a core source of confusion, larger implications, and possible scenarios. So, what if both Gene and Betsy were simply victims of tragic coincidence? Heart trouble compounded by shock. Maybe Betsy discovered Gene unresponsive, panicked, and took medication improperly, contributing to her own demise. That could be an accident with catastrophic timing. Another angle points to the possibility of an external factor that neither saw coming, something that overcame them both before they could even dial for help. Yet, for every plausible explanation, another set of questions arises. Why the unlocked door? Did the couple leave it open for the maintenance worker, only for something terrible to happen before he arrived? Did someone slip in or out without disturbing anything else? Investigators have pored over local security footage, combed through phone records, and interviewed neighbors, all hoping to pinpoint any sign of a stranger lurking around the property. As of now, no evidence has emerged of an intruder, leaving the simplest explanation, that of a medical mishap, as the prime contender. But, given the unsettled feeling many have about the odd details, simple might not fit. In the end, every clue in this story leads to another puzzle. An open door with no signs of forced entry, a pacemaker that stopped ticking days before the couple was found, one dog lost while two survived, pills scattered on a bathroom floor, and the suspicion that maybe they both OD'd or faced something far more ominous. This wasn't the quiet passing one would expect for a Hollywood icon who had long since retreated from the limelight. Instead, it feels like a curtain call shrouded in confusion. Until the toxicology reports return and investigators piece together a cohesive timeline, the circumstances surrounding Gene Hackman and Betsy Arakawa's last days will remain an unsettling riddle. Were they undone by failing health, overwhelmed by heartbreak, or visited by some unknown threat? Each possibility just spawns more speculation, underlining how much we still don't know. Sometimes real life is every bit as confounding as any Oscar-winning script. I'll leave you with this final question. Can any explanation truly tie up all these loose ends neatly? Or will we always wonder what really happened behind that unlocked door? Let me know your thoughts below, and if you found this deep dive fascinating, or just plain haunting, please like and share this video. While you're at it, don't forget to subscribe and help me keep my coffee supply well stocked. Every single sub takes me one step closer to a fresh cup of caffeinated inspiration. Thanks for watching, and stay curious.